Good morning, and welcome to Redeemer Lutheran Church. I'm Pastor Gary Lodeholt. Let me be clear. I don't know if this is true or not. Many years ago, I heard a story about the origin of the words hocus pocus. The story, as I heard it, involved several facts that do seem to fit together to explain how hocus pocus and its connection to the magic came to be. First, I need you to remember that for centuries, the Roman Catholic Church worshipped exclusively using Latin. So when they worshipped, most of the people didn't understand the words. And to this fact that in the Middle Ages, the cathedrals were large stone structures with lots of echoes. Then remember that the Roman Catholics have a view of communion such that the bread actually chemically and physically changes into Jesus' body and blood, and the wine changes to Jesus' blood. So in the midst of the service, and this the people did understand, there is what seemed to them to be some sort of magical change to the bread and wine. Finally, the Latin word for body is corpus. So, and again, I don't know if this is true or not, but the theory is that as the priest consecrated the elements, and this change took place, Latin words like corpus were heard amidst the echoes of other words until what they thought they heard was something like hocus pocus. The people connected those words with the magical change, and so it has been suggested that that's where hocus pocus came from. Today is Maundy, Thursday in Holy Week. On this day we observe Jesus washing his disciples' feet, establishing the communion meal, praying in the Garden of Gethsemane, and being betrayed and arrested. As we consider what happened to Jesus' body, as we remember how he told his disciples, "This is my body," it's a good day to think about another of our altar cloths, this time the one called the Corporal. Perhaps you can already see the connection to the word corpus, which the name corporal comes from. I've heard the corporal referred to as something of a placemat for the communion elements to rest on, and while that's a little frivolous concept, it does pretty well describe the function of the corporal. The corporal is a square piece of linen, about 20 inches square, that holds the bread and wine on the altar. Like the purificator we talked about yesterday, it is folded and ironed into 9 sections for storage. You might also be interested to know that when it is placed on the altar, it is placed seam side up, so that the edges of the seam can catch any crumbs or small pieces from falling to the floor. Again, this is to show respect and honor to the sacrament. What's important, however, goes back to the name, corporal. This altar cloth is understood to be the one closest to the bread and wine, and so it has an intimate connection to the body and the blood of Jesus. Use of the corporal is among the earliest altar linens used by the early church, and to add to that heritage its closeness to the elements of communion, tie it also to the crucifixion, and in many circles it is intended to represent the shroud that Jesus' body was wrapped in for burial. So to put it together, the corporal is the altar linen on which the Eucharistic body is laid. Our Lutheran idea of communion is not that the bread and wine actually change the way the Roman Catholics believe, but we do believe that while the bread remains bread and the wine remains wine, somehow with the bread and wine, the very real presence of Jesus comes to us. Now, you can't see it from where you sit in the pews, but I encourage you, next time you head up to communion, take a peek at the altar surface where the elements rest, and you will see this significant, ancient altar cloth. When we use the words hocus pocus, we are expecting some sort of magical change to happen. It's not magic, but in the death and resurrection of Jesus, in this holy meal we celebrate, the transformation happens in us. Thanks for watching, and remember to let this day belong to God.